it's Melissa, and welcome back to my channel. On this video, I will be designing with the Softlex Company Customer Appreciation Kit, California Dreaming, and I will leave a link down below in the description for the unboxing of that kit, as well as all other tutorials in a playlist. So I was inspired by Bedoria and Stars beads, so with the inspiration, I kind of designed a similar project just with more clusters, and we're going to be making it into a necklace. So I will also leave a link down below in the description for the live with Bedoria when she was teaching this technique. And I already went ahead and did a few steps ahead of time. Before we start creating, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It helps my little channel grow. And don't forget to check out down below in the description for all products used in this video or similar items you can use to create this project. Let's start creating. We need a lot of crystals. We are using 36 of each color, and they're each on a head pin. And I used the one-step looper in a 1.5 millimeter. For this project, it's very important that your loops are as close to the same size as they can, so you can get this little stack technique. And I alternated between kind of that sand opal color and the aqua. You can kind of see how it twists and turns. Like it has aqua color and then it does the little sand opals, kind of like a little swirl. And then I went ahead and added this bead mix is actually from the California Dreaming. And if there's any left over, I will leave the link down below in the description. And then I use these little beautiful starfish in the pastel colors and these beautiful crystal AV burl beads just to give it more sparkle. And then I'm adding in 8 millimeter opalite beads from my collection, and they are from a bead shop in Placerville, California, Artistic Beads and Studio. You'll need some 2x2s. So to get started from this step, we're going to use about 4 to 5 inches of soft flex wire. Like a lot of wire, but whatever's left over, you can always save it for a future project. And I love Bedoria's bead mixes. They're such a fun combo of colors. And there was a bead mix in the Day of the Dead kit for the Great Bead Extravaganza. So that would also work for this project. As long as all of your beads are the same size, you can make your little clusters as wide or as small as you would like. So this is 12 of each color per cluster. So it might be a little big for a bracelet, but I think it'd be a perfect size for a necklace. So to start, we're just going to pick up one of our little 2 millimeter 2x2s. Now I put my beads on an eye pin and then they're connected to a soldered 6 millimeter jump ring. The reason why I did a closed or soldered jump ring, a flex wire or my wire to come undone from the jump ring. You know how jump rings tend to open up sometimes when you don't want them to. So we're just going to slide it on through our closed 6 millimeter jump ring, and then we're going to pass our soft flex wire back through our 2x2. And we're going to create just a little bit of a loop. We want to make sure that it's fairly the same size. And then we're going to take our pliers and we're just going to flatten our 2x2. And then we can rotate it, and this is just going to give it a more professional finish. Now we have just a little bit of a tail, so we can go ahead and trim that, or we can just tuck it under the next bead. And for the next step of this project, it's very important before you add on your little clusters, because we're going to have to put a 2x2 on this side, we need to put a bead. And this just kind of keeps, think of it as like a little bead cap, and it's going to keep your little cluster all secured and together. So I'm just going to tuck the little tail right underneath the opalite bead. And then I'm going to add on 12 of my little blue beads and 12 of my sand opals. Add these on. Another important little tip is if you are using the one-step looper, you want to take your round nose pliers and make sure that each one of your loops are completely closed. If there is just a little bit of movement, you do risk them falling off of the soft flex one. So we have our opal bead, and then I'm just going to alternate between the aqua and the sand opal until we use all 12 of the beads. And that's what I love about this project. It's a lot of basic techniques, such as making a simple loop and bead stringing, but you're kind of incorporating them into a different way, and it's creating a new pattern. And it has a complexity to this pattern without being overly complicated to make. So we're going to add all of these on. We're halfway done with our cluster. So you can see the difference in sizing, and you can totally alternate these as well. Like you could have a big cluster and a small cluster. So just have fun with your design. We're going to add in that next opalite bead in 8 millimeter. You can see how everything is just going to go together. We're going to add on a 2 by 2. And this is why we need a bead at this end. If we were just to add our 2 by 2, it's going to kind of get tangled in with the rest of the beads. So we have our 2 by 2 on top. We're going to pick up one of our little starfish component links, and then we're just going to pass back through our 2 by 2, making our connection point. You'll see that everything is nice and secure. We want to make sure that our loops are fairly the same size. They don't have to be perfect. And I do have a lot of soft flex wire, so you definitely want to save that for another project. So we're going to flatten it, and then we're just going to rotate. You can see our beautiful little necklace. And the customer appreciation kit, California Dreaming, was just to honor California. Softflex Company is based in Sonoma, California, and with just this design palette, really looked like the beaches in Sonoma County, like Bodega Bay. So super excited to create with this design kit. One little component to make, and then we're going to finish our necklace. So we're going to pick up one more 2 by 2 on our Softflex. And you can also change the colors of your Softflex wire. Like you could use a turquoise on one component and then maybe a fluorite. Want to make sure our loop is similar. And then we're just going to flatten it and rotate. And grab our opalite bead. So this one I have a little bit sticking out, so I'm just going to trim that. We're going to add on our opalite bead, and then we're just going to do the same thing. So starting with the aqua, and then go to the sand opal and repeat that for the rest of the 12 little steps. Added on the last little dangles, we're going to put on our 8 millimeter opalite. And you can see by using the one-step looper and having a 1.5 millimeter loop that they all lay correctly and they're all the same size for the loop. And with the soft flex wire, if you wanted to do wire wrapping, you can. You can use maybe a 22 gauge wire or craft wire from Softflex. They come in so many different colors, so it can really match your necklace. So just another option if you didn't want to use the beading wire from Softflex and wanted to change it to maybe a harder wire such as the craft wire. So we're just going to connect it to our last little link. Slide on that last 2 by 2 and our closed 6 millimeter jump ring. Pass it back through. Make sure all our loops are going the same way. Nice little bead cluster. And then we're just going to give it a smash and we're going to rotate. Trim off our extra Softflex. So now we're just going to attach it to some chain. So I'm going to use some 6 millimeter jump rings. You could just add some more Softflex fire, maybe in a couple colors like the fluorite and turquoise, and braid it. That would be really pretty as well. Maybe add like some little charms. I'm just going to add some just silver chain to the back, just kind of keep it simple because my bead clusters are kind of the star of my necklace. And then I have a little piece of chain, and we're just going to attach it to the jump rings to the chain. If you want to add a clasp, you can either do an asymmetrical on the side or cut the chain in the middle on the back, and then you can go ahead and attach the clasp of your choice. So we're just going to slide on that jump ring to the chain, to the other jump ring, and then you're going to close. You'll hear that little click, and that's when you know your jump ring is secure and completely closed. And then to open up a jump ring, we're just going to slide, just gently twist, attach, and then we're just going to close the same way. And we have our beautiful California Dreaming little chain necklace with our bead clusters. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It helps my little channel grow. And check out down below in the description for all other tutorials using this fabulous design kit and the original video that inspired this technique. Have an awesome day.